Hey guys, it's Noah again. Sorry it's been a bit since I've posted. I'd like to say it's just because of everything going on, but in truth, time got away from me. Um, but the reason I'm coming to you today is we're going on, probably, at least for me, we're going on to the second full week of severe changes in our lives, I guess. I'm still able to work. I am in what you might call a necessary um, position, which is great. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining because bills are a thing. And for those of you who are not in a position where they're able to go to work, for better or for worse, it's probably for the best, just to make sure we can hopefully bend the curve or flatten the curve, as it were. But for those of you who are using this time to maybe start on a new hobby or expand themselves, I'm sure people are taking up painting or maybe tinkering, building stuff, whatever. I will humbly put forward picking up an acoustic instrument. And I think, especially for this sort of time frame, there is not a lot that brings me more joy than being able to pick up and play a guitar or bass, or ukulele, if you will. It's something that you can potentially ultimately, go to open mic nights, meet new people, even earn money with potentially down the line. And one benefit of an acoustic instrument in particular is you don't actually have to buy a whole lot of stuff. Now, there's obviously still certain equipment to buy and all that, but you don't have to worry about an amplifier when you're first starting out. The acoustic instrument will obviously make plenty of noise for you to be able to practice with at home and even potentially put on a small show for friends and family. So when it comes to buying your first acoustic guitar, again, I will always stress, make sure that you are at least running stuff by somebody who has experience in purchasing and playing and maintaining instruments. That sort of input can be very, very valuable. I know because of social distancing and everything, that might not be as feasible to have somebody come with you, but at the very least, they can give you some pointers on what to look for and what to stay away from. Now, there's a few things you're going to want to make sure you know well ahead of time when you're actually ready to buy. One, depending upon how you look at it, is your price range. Again, some of your price range, some of your overall budget isn't just going to go to the guitar. Some of it might be going to a tuner and a capo, both of which you really probably should have. Some guitar models do actually have a tuner built in. This does not. This has a 1/4-inch jack, so I can plug this into an amplifier or a mixing board DI box, basically, so I can play in a live setting where just the acoustic guitar won't cut it. In fact, I have done that many times over the past 5, even probably 10, 15 years at this point. Wow, it's going to get away from me. But price range is important. And keeping in mind that generally the more money you spend, the higher quality equipment you are getting. That is not always the case. There are definitely duds, lemons, if you will. But for the most part, that rings true. In addition to that, you're going to want to know maybe what sort of body style you want. There are many types of acoustic guitars. Now, if you're talking about a metal string guitar, common body shape, and I'll actually bring this one up here. This is a 12 string, but this will give you an idea of what the body shape is. This is a dreadnought. So this is usually, if you're thinking of an acoustic guitar, you're thinking of a guitar that looks like this. Don't worry about getting a 12-string. Don't get your 12-string as a first guitar. That is more of a luxury buy. Whereas this is my primary guitar. This is an a Larrivee L03 custom model. I should add. You can't really get this over the counter or on their website. This is the top wood is different than what they normally supply. This, I believe, is what is called a concert guitar, where it has a little bit more curves to it, I guess. There are also parlor guitars, which are very, very, very small bodied, generally meant for quieter situations, i.e. a parlor. And then another common one is what is called a jumbo, which per its name is actually the body is quite big, wide, if you will. Generally, the larger the guitar body, the louder it will be. Again, generally. So something to consider there. But again, most of the common ones, I'm assuming probably what your first guitar is going to be a Dreadnought, like this guy back here. Like my first guitar was an Alvarez starter guitar, didn't have any electronics or anything like that. Laminate back and sides and whatnot. I'll get to what that means. But get a good handle on your budget and then know what type of guitar you want, i.e. Dreadnought, jumbo, parlor, whatever. Another thing to consider is what actually fits your body size. I am 6'7". I can hold any guitar and it will look like a ukulele on me. So that's neither here nor there. But there are people who, if you get a jumbo bodied guitar, you might not be able to reach around it and play it properly. So again, consider that if you're 5'9" or lower. That's a joke. Because everybody's short to me. So more like 5'3" or lower. So consider that. And make sure that you can fit your hand around the neck so that all of your fingers can easily, fret all the notes. Again, it's not just going to be like this. You got to be able to fret chords all over. And again, having somebody who knows what they're looking for, especially when you're picking out your first guitar, if you don't know how to play any chords, good to have them around. Third, learn some chords. Make sure you can play the guitar so you can make sure it sounds good to you. Make sure it rings out well. That's another thing, because in acoustic guitars, quality, what you're hearing initially is going to be the body itself resonating, the strings vibrating and all that. Make sure you like the way it sounds. Make sure it doesn't sound dead or muted or anything like that. If the guitar you're looking at, again, has electronics in it, make sure you plug it into something. Make sure it sounds okay. Make sure the pickup works and it's in the bridge. But yeah, I mean, those are some of the big steps to what you're going to want to look into when you are making your first purchase. And I do encourage you to do that. I mean, this is something that has really enriched my life for the past literally 20 years at this point. I've started out with bass, of course, but picked up my first guitar when I was in 7th grade, so not too far after the bass. But again, the nice thing about an acoustic instrument is most of your money is just going straight to the instrument. I would say, to me personally, if you're an adult, don't go less than probably $200-300 on the guitar, because anything below that, most likely all of the wood is laminate, which means that instead of it being solid wood, like an actual cut of wood, it's basically, for lack of a better word, particle board. Basically sandwiched together little tiny slices of wood to make a guitar body. Not that they don't sound okay, they just to me don't age well, aren't quite as sturdy, probably don't vibrate as well either, don't sound as ringy. This is an all solid wood guitar. It's all mahogany, and then I think this is maple binding. Not, but that's more of a decorative thing. But and then ebony fretboard and headstock cover. But yeah, the more money you spend, usually you'll see more solids. I would say for your first guitar, at the very minimum, get a solid top guitar, and then maybe the back and sides can be laminate. Not a huge deal at that point, but at least the piece of wood that the bridge is resting on is actual wood. When you do pick up a guitar, when you're inspecting the thing, you're going to want to make sure that there's no like bubbling around the bridge, because that could be indicative of structural issues on the inside, because you know there's a lot of pressure when strings are tightened across the bridge to the nut here. There's I want to say about 250 pounds of pressure on a fully strung, tightened up guitar. So make sure that that's solid. You can also look into the sound hole. You can see the cross bracings in here. Make sure there are no cracks. You're not going to be able to see the whole thing, but you can see a few of them. If there are any cracks in those, it could again be indicative of some structural issues. You don't want to buy those guitars because it just means you're going to have to either fix them or replace them down the line. Yeah, make sure when you're looking at them, look down the neck on both sides. Make sure it's straight. There's no weird ripples in them, because that is something that down the line could cause fretting issues. In order for your frets to work properly, and what the frets are is they stop the string vibrating so you can fret notes. If a ripple causes you not to be able to fret a note, it's not going to be worth having. One way to look into that is check all the frets on all the strings. Again, this is pretty nice guitar, so, and I got it used, so any issues that it may have had down the line were figured out a while back. But again, those are some things to look for, some things to consider before purchasing your first guitar, or just in general acoustic instrument. And the reason I say acoustic instrument is because I do have a wild card with me. If, for whatever reason, you don't feel prepared to drop $200, $300, or even potentially more on your first acoustic instrument, or could be your first instrument ever, I humbly put forward the ukulele. The reason I like the ukuleles is they are very inexpensive relative to, say, full-size guitar, and they are a little baby guitar that sounds like sunshine and happiness. Fun fact, the sales of ukuleles in comparison to the overall economy are inversely proportional, meaning as the economy, for lack of a better word, doesn't do well or tanks, these guys actually go up in sales. Interesting. Again, correlation does not equal causation or anything like that, but these really cheap models, I think you can find maybe sub $50, and some more, say, expensive ones, kind of like this one. This one is all wood, it's koa. I think I got for 100, 125, give or take. They might be a little bit different now, but this was a couple years ago. but simpler to learn, I would say, from the standpoint of fewer strings to deal with. And most of the songs that you would have heard, such as Hey Soul Sister, or I'm Yours, or Somewhere Over the Rainbow by Is, they're chord-based. So you don't have to worry about individual picking of the strings. It's just take your finger, and strum. Books are easy to come by. The internet is a huge thing, so definitely utilize that. But yeah, I mean, again, make sure you probably get a capo and a tuner, of course. Any guitar tuner will work on a ukulele, so that's one thing. But yeah, you know, have at it. Learn something new. Enjoy yourself, and you know, stay safe. Keep in mind, I will be live streaming with my good friend Jenna come Thursday at 7 o'clock. So keep an eye out for that. And when I say Thursday, I believe that's going to be April 2nd. So after April Fool's Day. This is not an April Fool's joke. I will be live streaming with her. She'll be singing some tunes with me. I'll be playing my guitar and this little guy to hopefully you know, brighten your day a little bit. And yeah, again, stay safe, stay healthy, and you know, keep doing what you're doing. You have a good day.